Now, matatu and tuk-tuk operators in Mombasa have increased fares after the hike in fuel prices announced on Tuesday. A number of tuk-tuk operators in Mombasa are now charging 100 shillings, up from 50 shillings, with public service vehicles raising fares by at least 20 shillings per trip. They claim that for the last 2 days, it has been had to operate profitably, given the current fuel prices, which have led to the increase in fare charged. Some Mombasa residents have been forced to walk long distances. They say they cannot afford the new commuter services. They are now appealing to the government to reduce the number of levies and to review the formula with the aim of reducing fuel prices.
Tulikuwa tunatumia 30 bob, lakini sasa ni 50, 70 inapanda.
Pesa yote ukishika mkononi, alafu lazima uende kwa mafuta mwanzo. Unaelewa? Shilingi 7 nzima ni difference kubwa mwanangu. Unaona? Nikambe mafuta, yani nikambe unafanya kazi ununue mafuta, alafu upeane pesa mwenyewe uende nyumbani bila.
Sasa saa hii wanachaja 100 bob, tuk-tuk pia imeongezea ni 100 bob, na tunaona hii maisha itaendelea kuwa gumu siku zinapoendelea kusonga. Na kama hao wabunge wanataka tuwachague ikikuja 2022, lazima warekebishe hii maneno na si kutuambia tungoje.
Now, the Kenyan government has received 1.4 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine. The doses arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport this afternoon. Let's now cross over there and listen in to the ministry and stakeholders who are currently addressing the press at the JKIA airport.
Pfizer vaccines that have been used to vaccinate millions of people in the United States and around the world. We expect additional shipments of Pfizer doses to arrive next week and in the coming weeks as well. Nearly 3 weeks ago, we had the pleasure of receiving the first U.S. donation of COVID-19 vaccines. The second shipment of Moderna vaccines arrived last week, completing the 1.76 million dose donation. Those life-saving vaccines were quickly distributed and are now being administered to the Kenyan people to help bring Kenya and the world out of the shadow of the COVID-19 crisis. This donation is a demonstration of the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to help combat COVID-19 around the globe. And it's based on the very, very strong partnership that the United States and Kenya have built over the last nearly 60 years. In addition to the vaccine donations, the United States, through the U.S. Agency for International Development and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, is providing technical and financial support to several projects, including those aimed at increasing demand for vaccines, providing health worker training, establishing project monitoring, strengthening supply chain and cold storage capacity of vaccines, as well as monitoring the adverse effects of vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines are a critical tool to ending the pandemic. Recent data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention showed that unvaccinated people in the United States are nearly 11 times more likely to experience severe disease and death. We urge all Kenyans to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Don't wait. It could save your life or it could save the life of a loved one. The U.S. government will continue to work with the government of Kenya to bring additional life-saving vaccines to Kenya through our partners with COVAX. Working together, we will help build a world that is safer and more secure against the threat of infectious disease. Thank you.
That is a U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Eric Nidla, just saying that more doses of the Pfizer vaccines that arrived in the country a few minutes ago, that we'll get more vaccines from next week from the U.S. And earlier on, Babu Namwamba also said that the government is providing a platform to respond to the needs of the people. 1.4 million vaccines have been received, Pfizer vaccines that is, have been received from the U.S. government to aid in the vaccination program here in the country. And we'll give you more on that particular particular story in a subsequent bulletin. Staying with matters COVID-19, hundreds of matatu operators today turned up to participate in the ongoing mass vaccination exercise. The exercise, organized by the Nairobi Metropolitan Services (NMS) and the Matatu Owners Association, saw long queues across various bus stations in Nairobi. The exercise targets all matatu operators who say they have been eagerly waiting for their turn to get a job. All operators have been urged to turn up for the exercise that started today and will run until the 19th of September in 10 selected bus stations. Elsewhere, the MAKUENI County government, in partnership with the Minister of Education, has embarked on distribution of 200,000 face masks to all its early childhood development centers to minimize the spread of COVID-19 among learners. MAKUENI Governor Kivutha Kibwana launched the exercise at Unoa Primary School on Friday. Each learner in the 1,609 public and private centers is expected to get 4 washable masks. The governor says there is need for an intense vaccination program targeting all teaching and non-teaching staff in schools to arrest the spread of the virus.
It is a very positive thing for the national government partnering with the Council of Governors to distribute these masks to primary schools, and especially the ECD level, because many of the parents may not actually afford. We are also encouraged in MAKUENI, the uptake of vaccines among the teachers has been quite high. And we encourage, if there are any who have not yet received vaccines, to do so.
The school has a population of around 1,200, and the ECD, they are around 120, with at least 30 teachers. The kids are very happy, as you can see, and actually we are going to have the masks.
With the 2.1 million Kenyans at risk of starvation over the next 6 months, UK High Commissioner Jane Marriott has called for climate action to tackle adverse weather conditions in Kenya. The High Commissioner, on her first visit to ISIOLO, saw firsthand how the ISIOLO River has dried up, denying locals a vital water source. Area residents forced to rely on one borehole, with some traveling several kilometers for it. The drought, which had been predicted earlier this year, is as a result of the failed rain season. The UK is working with the National Drought Management Authority to set up an early warning system that will allow counties to respond to drought. The partnership extends to cash transfers to Kenyans affected by drought, with the UK government supporting Kenya to reach more than 375,000 households.
That you can have drought, that you are hungry, that your animals are hungry, that your children are hungry. And then 2 weeks later, there is so much rain, it causes flood and death and displacement. And we need to explain to those at the very top in power the impact that their decisions have on the lives of ordinary people.
Pia tumejikakamua, tumejipanga kutayarisha chakula kiasi fulani, lakini mnajua hakuna chakula inatosha watu. Ndio maana hata tunaita wadhamini hata hawa wakuje waungane na sisi tuweze kuongeza hiyo chakula, tuweze kupelekea watu.
Let's now look at some politics. And Deputy President William Ruto has rubbished attempts to reintroduce amendments to the Constitution through Parliament. Speaking while meeting delegates from Bungoma County at his Sugoi home in Uasin Gishu County, Ruto objected to the bill that seeks to have cabinet secretaries appointed from Parliament, saying it is not a priority at the moment. Ruto called on MPs not to engage in any further push for constitutional changes after the BBI flopped.
Ati bado sasa ile mambo ya vyeo wamepeleka bunge, sijui wanataka kutengeneza kiti gani, sijui vyeo gani. Mimi nataka niwaambie wabunge wa Kenya wawache kupoteza muda ya wananchi wakiongea mambo ya mamlaka, waongee mambo ya wananchi. Kwanza tunataka sheria ya NHIF Act ile iko bunge ishughulikiwe kwa njia ya dharura ili tuanze mambo ya universal health coverage.
Now elsewhere, Orange Democratic Movement ODM party leader Raila Odinga is expected to hold a high-level Coast ODM delegates meeting on Saturday in Nyali, Mombasa County. Mombasa ODM leaders led by Mvita MP Abdul Samad Nasir say the purpose of the delegates meeting is to come up with ways of popularizing the party in the Coast region through recruitment of new ODM members ahead of the 2022 general election.
We're simply recapturing what was always belonging to ODM. The ideals that Kenyans have. Tunataka kuregesha. Our role is to continuously caution where government is going wrong, and in the instance of fuel prices, government has not just gone wrong, they've totally erred.
Na sisi wanajeshi wa chama cha chungwa tunataka kuambia wale sijui ni tangatanga kama sijui ni kina nani, hii pwani iko na wenyewe ni ODM.
Kwa ufupi, sisi tunataka kupaint kaunti yetu na region yetu orange.
Let's look at some sports news. Striker Victor Osimhen scored a second-half brace as Napoli fought back to an 2-2 draw at Leicester City in a pulsating Europa League Group C clash last night.
And in comes Perez! Simare. Iheanacho, Tielemans, Daka! Oh, it is, it's offside! Despair. This could break kindly for Harvey Barnes. Yes, he's done it! A brilliant finish! This one will certainly stand. Down by Ruiz, Osimhen could be in here. He is! It's a goal for Napoli. Victor Osimhen has pulled one back. Politano. Osimhen! There's the equaliser. He's done it again.
On that note, to end up Citizen Briefs this Friday afternoon, thank you very much for keeping me company as usual. My name is Weekly Forandi, but you're working on these and more stories that will come your on 7 and Nipashe with Mashurima Kapombe and Friday night with Lilian Muli. Keep it Citizen TV. Have a lovely afternoon.